Begin with the developing news from overnight. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is en route to the U.S. He tweeted at 1 a.m. announcing he will attend meetings in D.C. today, meet with President Joe Biden, and deliver a speech to Congress. While he's here, a senior Biden administration tells NBC News President Biden will announce the Patriot missile battery Ukraine has wanted for its defense will be included in a new aid package to the nation. That official says U.S. troops will train Ukrainian forces in another country before the Patriots are deployed in Ukraine, adding U.S. troops will not be involved at that point. The senior Biden administration official says this trip by Zelensky had been in the works for the past few days, with the president extending a formal invitation on the 14th. Zelensky accepted. And this past Sunday, while the U.S. consulted with him on security parameters for the trip, the decision was made for him to come. Zelensky has not publicly left Ukraine for any reason since Russia invaded in February. David Ignatius explained the significance of Zelensky coming to the United States of America.
Mika, I think this will be a dramatic visit. It's rare to have somebody in the middle of a war, a brutal war, leave his country to explain to the United States and the world just what he's fighting for. And I think he'll be passionate in explaining that. I think the significance of the trip is that politically it should really lock in bipartisan support for continued U.S. military assistance to Ukraine. It should, I think, galvanize our NATO allies to work closely with the U.S. through what will be a difficult winter. I think most of all, this is just a defiant gesture towards Russia, which is pounding Ukraine every day, trying to weaken the country's infrastructure, trying to break the will of its people, and to have their president Zelensky received in Washington, celebrated as the person who embodies the aspirations, I think, of the West for freedom, for standing up to bullying from Vladimir Putin and Russia, will be dramatic, and will have a consequence that Ukraine's path through this difficult winter, I think, will be a little bit easier. The Ukrainian people, I think, will sense the support they have from the world. I was just in Kyiv 2 weeks ago, Mika. It's a startling feeling to be amid people who show that kind of defiance, courage, refusal to buckle under what's mounting Russian pressure as they try to break the heating and power systems throughout the country. So we'll get a chance to experience a little of that secondhand as we listen to Zelensky talk about his country, talk about his fight. And I'd be amazed if there are many Republicans who, after that speech, aren't seeking to identify themselves with Zelensky, aren't trying to support his war with the additional U.S. weapons that President Biden wants to send.
Yeah, the impact on Republicans should be pretty powerful. I think also it's a chance for Volodymyr Zelensky to really show Americans and tell Americans personally from his heart that Ukrainians are fighting and dying for the safety of the world, ultimately. And John Meacham, your thoughts? Is this solidifying any Churchillian parallels here?
Absolutely. With a great sense of theater and a great commitment to the hard work, unimaginable work for most of us, of defending your country from a superior power. Zelensky is very much acting in the Churchillian tradition. Churchill didn't come to the United States during World War II until December 1941, after both Pearl Harbor and Hitler's declaration of war on the United States. It was at that point that FDR said to him, "We're all in the same boat now." And it was a boat that, like Zelensky, Churchill had been in largely alone since the spring of 1940. And we had been fighting this battle that we're fighting again. And I think this is the thing to think about today and tomorrow as people watch these events. This is one of our oldest and most difficult battles in the United States. It's between engagement in the world and isolationism. the false sense that because of the gift of geography of the United States of America, that somehow we are, to paraphrase Churchill, not involved in the agonies and the triumphs of the old world. But we are. And I think President Biden has led with immense skill throughout this crisis. It's reminiscent of the senior President Bush during the first Gulf War, and then back to the Great World War II leadership. And I say that without people can mock that, perhaps, but David can check me on it. The way he's managing these alliances, the way he is trying to enable America to project power without going too far and yet without falling short. And that's, in many ways, of course, the great test of diplomacy. And I think that will bring all of this top of mind in the next 24 hours.
Yeah, this is going to be an incredible 24 hours. We're going to have a lot more on this major development in just a moment. Jonathan Lemire is going to join us with his new reporting on how this visit came to be and exactly what is at stake.